This BMW was smoking so badly, I was told to not even attempt to start it. Of course I tried anyway, but what I eventually discovered, to be honest, was something I did not expect. This is a 2011 BMW 550i that I recently picked up in pretty neglected condition. These cars, especially this specific one with early N63 engine in it, are famous for having all kinds of problems, and I'm starting to think this one might have most of them. My goal is pretty optimistic. I want to go through the entire car and bring it back to proper condition, mechanically and also cosmetically. I was told the main issue was heavy smoke from the exhaust, but I have doubts about that, and before I could even investigate that smoking problem, the engine wouldn't even start at all. I have a feeling the battery is dead because someone kept trying to start the engine and it was just clicking, even with a jump start, as if it was locked. Even after a long charge, the battery did not come back to life. It still shows around 5 volts, which means several cells are already completely damaged and the only option is to replace the battery. I already have an idea where I can get the battery from. In these AGM batteries, the cells can get damaged much easier than traditional acid batteries if discharged. But otherwise, they're much better and longer lasting batteries if properly maintained. One thing BMW did here really annoyed me. Normally, you can release the transmission from park using a small access point in the interior, but on this car, the manual release is actually under the vehicle, which means if the battery dies somewhere inconvenient, you literally have to crawl under the car to get it out of park. Not exactly ideal.
Alright, light is on, that's a good sign, wasn't there before. Battery is a bit smaller, but maybe with the help of this body here, it will do the job. Oh man, just looking at it I feel like something's gonna break right now. If you want some oil in your garage, if you want some smoke in your air, that's the right engine for you. Alright, battery installed, fingers crossed, let's see if it will start.
Oh crap. A little bit more smoke than I expected. But it started. Smells terrible, by the way. So now, after it finally started, I can believe it smokes. Because my whole garage is covered in smoke, I can't run it like this. It does look like a major problem, but first logical step would be checking engine oil level and fault codes. This is where this will be handy. I've got this scan tool and I'm very excited to use it for the first time. I chose it over other scan tools because it looked more promising, but for a better price, and it also has this wireless dongle which I always wanted. Let's see which codes this thing has.
I'm pretty sure it's loading like this because it's first start up. It wants me to register. I don't want to register right now, I just want to use it.
Yeah, these are the faults. It's so many of them, they're useless because it's very unlikely all of these issues came up all at the same time, meaning I have to delete them and see which one comes back first. There is one thing, although, which I noticed is the fuel rail pressure. Looks like the right side, which is fuel rail pressure, is dropping compared to fuel rail pressure 2, which is the left bank. I also had pretty big misfire on cylinder 1, which is on that right side as well. I think it's a good idea to remove spark plug and look inside of that cylinder to make sure it's not a leaky injector. And since I'm here, I checked the engine oil level because it doesn't have a dipstick, and it says engine oil level is sufficient. But I have to start the engine to precisely measure it, which I can't do because it smokes too much. The spark plug looks pretty bad. It's black and it's wet. What looks like a mixture of fuel and oil all together. I want to run compression tests now to narrow things down. But before I do that, I want to take fuel sample, because in my experience, this amount of smoke combined with multiple misfires was 9 out of 10 times caused by diesel fuel in the fuel tank. To me, this fuel sample looks clean and it doesn't have any signs of diesel being in it. I even went to the gas station and got some fresh gas to compare. To me, they look identical. I don't think there's any contamination. What do you think? Now back to the compression check. I already performed coolant system pressure test to make sure coolant is not leaking into the cylinder, and I decided to leave it on during compression check, because if there is a compression leak into the coolant system pressure will rise also. Strange enough, compression on all cylinders is pretty much the same, with maybe 5-10 psi difference, which is perfect. To be honest, this is a surprise to me because I was expecting a dead cylinder full of oil. Now I want to look inside of the cylinder to see what's going on with my own eyes. My personal feedback, this bore scope sucks. I got it from local store, the image quality isn't great, it's stiff, it's hard to bend and manipulate, and it feels very outdated. I am a little confused at this point because cylinder looks great. There's a little trace of oil on the cylinder wall, but other than that, it's not flooded with oil, there's no scoring, there's good compression, and there is no constant misfire, just random misfires here and there, probably caused by whatever's causing the smoke and interfering with fuel-air ratio. This is how piston moves during cranking. I just wanted to see it. Now you have seen it too. At this point, I feel a little lost because the engine looks pretty healthy, but something is still causing it to smoke. In the next steps, I want to isolate PCV and turbos by disconnecting them and running the engine, then see what happens. Now the vacuum lines to the intake from PCV are completely plugged. The turbocharger is not connected to intake system and PCV is completely disconnected. But it still smokes. I even removed oxygen sensors to give you a better visual example. See, it still smokes. I decided to take another look inside of the cylinders. And what I discovered blew my mind. They are full of oil. Where did it come from? Everything was disconnected. Turbos, PCVs, everything. I wonder if there was oil left in the intakes, and after I started the engine it was sucked into the cylinders even though everything was disconnected. But why it wasn't there when I checked the first time? Who knows? So I went to look inside the intakes. And guess what? They are also full of oil. It tells me the oil must be coming from upstream of the intake manifolds, like turbochargers or PCV again, but I isolated them. Anyways, let's clean these intake manifolds with a shop towel and a cable. Wow, just look how much oil is in there. This would definitely create some smoke. And the same is on the right side. I don't get how both sides could be affected this bad. It's like someone drove through a puddle of oil. The intercooler is also full of oil, as well as turbo inlet pipe. Many hours later, the intake system was completely cleaned and I tried to start it again. But somehow it still smokes. What confuses me even more, there are no misfires, the engine runs smooth. There is one last step before I run out of options. I want to run a smoke test by connecting smoke machine to the crankcase with oxygen sensors and spark plugs removed, turbochargers not connected, PCV also not connected to the intake system. This way I'm creating smoke and positive pressure inside of the crankcase, and where the smoke will exit should tell me where the oil is coming from. Unfortunately, I don't see one specific area where most of the smoke comes out from, just normal amount in all cylinders, passing through the piston rings, then travel to exhaust through open exhaust valves. I left PCV and turbos disconnected from intake system, the ping pong balls worked great by the way, and tried to start it one last time. The result speaks for itself. There is no result. Even after all of this work, it still smokes, and the oil is still getting into cylinders somehow. I just don't get it. Completely stuck piston rings, cracking cylinder walls. I ran out of ideas. At this point, I decided to drain the oil and inspect it for metal. If I find no metal in it, I don't know what else could be causing it to smoke. The oil doesn't look that bad. It's actually pretty clean. I can even see through it. And here is the moment when I started realizing something is not right. It's just so much oil. It shouldn't be like that. It starts to overflow catch pan, and I have to stop this hot oil with my hands to prevent mess on the floor. Was it as simple as that this whole time? It was just overfilled with oil?
I spent a lot of time on this thing.
I even had to speed up this video because it took a while to drain all of this oil. The catch container filled up, and the oil just kept coming. And kept coming. By the time it stopped, nearly 20 quarts had come out of this engine. That's roughly 3 times the normal oil capacity. This highlights the importance of the correct engine oil level. In one of my previous videos, I discovered how low oil level destroyed the engine, and in this video, we all see how too much oil can destroy an engine. Or is it destroyed? Modern engines like this BMW 550i rely entirely on electronic level sensors instead of a dipstick, and according to the car, the engine oil level was sufficient. In my head, it registered as oil level is good. What was misleading? And I started overcomplicating things. Obviously, the engine was massively overfilled. I guess this could also mean sufficient oil level BMW, not a single warning about oil being 15 quarts overfull. When an engine is overfilled this badly, oil can get pushed through the crankcase ventilation system or even piston rings and into the intake, which can cause exactly the kind of smoke I was seeing. Overfilling an engine with oil may not sound like a big deal, but it can actually cause serious problems. In extreme cases, it can even lead to hydrolock, where liquid oil enters the combustion chamber and prevents the piston from moving normally, and that can bend connecting rods or damage the engine internally. Also, excess oil causes the fast-spinning crankshaft to strike it, whipping the oil, creating a foam. This affects lubrication and reduced oil pressure. Plus, it's bad for piston rings, which may get stuck if oil cooks on them. Let's just say, too much oil can destroy your engine, as if you drove without oil at all. So the next step was obvious. Refill the engine with the correct amount of oil and see if the smoke would disappear. And it did. But unfortunately, that wasn't the end of the story, because the next time I started the engine, a new problem appeared that forced me to remove the engine completely. And that's what I'll show in the next video.